Bible actually says stars are. And the reason why I wanted to do this first was because I was going to do a full-on teaching about the biblical flat earth. And I want to start off with just laying a bit of foundation beforehand, and this was one of the things that I wanted to set out. I want to do a full teaching on the biblical flat earth, and I also want to do a full teaching on something that actually goes over the other two topics as well, which is the God of this world, who runs this earth and who's in control of this earth. And that lines up with all of this, the biblical flat earth. It gives you your explanation of why there's such a discrepancy between modern day science and our biblical accounts of what's going on, what has happened, and what we are living in, and the reasons why it's important as well. But I want to start off first of all with this teaching about what the Bible actually says stars are. I'm not going to enter any of my own opinions into this. I just want to read the passages for what they say and let you see why this is so different than what we're told and how it's so different. Now, first of all, the first passage is Revelation 1:20. This is Jesus writing the 7 letters to the 7 churches. And here you'll see, he says the 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches. He calls the stars angels. He says 7 stars are the angels, the 7 angels. Okay, that's one passage. Gets a lot more interesting in a second, and it amazed me the first time I noticed this. Now, Revelation 9:1 it's an account of a star that falls from heaven, right? A star falls from heaven onto the earth. And he opened the bottomless pit. So it calls him him, calls him he. And he performs 2 actions. He takes a key, he's given a key, and he uses that key to open the bottomless pit. Now, if you keep all this in mind, it's called him, he. It's referred to as him and he. He gets a key, and he uses that key. He performs an action of using that key to unlock this bottomless pit. There's no allegory in this. This is a straight story of what's going to happen. It's telling you what's going to happen in the future, and this is an event yet to come. Now, there's a similar event that happens, but it uses the words angel and star interchangeably throughout the Bible. It does it a number of times, and this is one of these times. Pardon me. And this is Revelation 21, and it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven. So it calls it an angel, and this time it doesn't fall from heaven, it comes down from heaven. Now, this is one of God's angels. I actually think the reason why it says that the star I saw a star fall from heaven was because it was a fallen angel. I don't think it was one of God's angels. In this passage, this angel is opening up the bottomless pit to lock Satan in for 1,000 years while Christ is ruling on the earth. We'll read what it says here. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven. So he just comes down from heaven. It's one of God's angels 100%. Whether the other one is a fallen angel, it's hard to tell. It seems like it, but what does he do? He says he having the key of the bottomless pit. So an angel has a key to the bottomless pit this time. It said a star the last time. And a great chain in his hand. Refers to him again in a masculine pronoun. It says his. And a great chain in his hand. Yet again, it says it again. And he. It refers to it as a he. Laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. So here we have the same sort of events happening again. And if the entity that unlocks the bottomless pit here using a key is an angel, what was the entity, the star, in Revelation 9:1? What was that? An angel. That's what it is. It's using the terms angel and star interchangeably. It's the same thing. Now this happens again in Revelation again, and it's Revelation 12, 3 and 4. And what you'll see here is it's the sign appears in heaven, and then you have Satan, the great dragon, and he gets his tail, and he says his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. So it says that he gets these third part of stars. Now this is the verse that we learnt how many angels actually fell with Satan. This is the verse they use for that, to say that a third of the angels fell with Satan. I'm sure you've heard it before. Now what you see is, again, uses stars here, but if you read on down, Revelation 12:7, here we go. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So, first of all, if there were stars, as in how we understand stars today, apparently understand stars today, I mean, if a third of the stars fell to earth, if it was Betelgeuse at 141,000 times the size of the earth, I mean, you're going to have a bad day, and it doesn't make sense. You know, if we're even a slightly smaller body, turned up, the earth, this is only the start of a load of events that are yet to happen. If that was to happen, that would be it. Now, if you take it as being angels, well, that makes perfect sense, because it tells you then, after the stars of heaven fall down, the third of them are pulled down by Satan, that then there's a war in heaven between Michael and his angels and Satan and his angels. Okay, so the Bible seems to say 100% that the angels are stars and stars are angels. Here it says, Revelation 6:13, and the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, and when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So all the stars fall to the earth again. This is another event, and this is before, Revelation 6:13 is well before all the events that lead up to Revelation 11:15, where the kingdoms become our gods and Christ reigns, and Revelation 11:18, where you have the judgment of the dead. So there's a load of events that happen. So if all the stars that we know as stars today came falling down, this is over. The story ends there. There's no continuation of the story. But if they're angels, 100%, it makes perfect sense, it's fine. So there's no problem. And this next part, and God says, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. How is the heaven going to depart as a scroll? Unless what the biblical flat earth says is right. But this is just doing us to teach about stars, but this is something else to keep in mind. And one last thing that I found really, it was actually quite surprising, and I'd seen it 100 times before. You've seen it loads of times in your life, but it is the satanic pentagram. And what it is, it sort of doesn't even dawn on you when you're thinking about it. But when you're thinking about this, what is the pentagram? It is an upside down star, a fallen star, a fallen angel. That is what the sign means.